Okay, again, I'm wearing the Rumpelstiltskin hat, and I just made a video yesterday about Rumpelstiltskin programs running, and I gave you a link to Magenta Pixie, so please review that item. This is Stewie from Family Ties. Do you remember Family Ties? That was a long time ago, in the 1980s. What do we remember about Family Ties? The star of the show developed a horrible disease in real life. Why is that relevant? I don't know, but we're going to move along. Okay, this is somebody with a moose head. Okay. Arizona cactus, nice hot sunshine. This is Vasily Fisk, our metaphysical detective, who is still missing, and I don't know what else. Okay, we want to talk to you about the six. What is the six? We think that they are ring wraiths. Ring wraiths are from Lord of the Rings. They served Morgoth. They were very evil men that just became like ghosts. But they were very horrible. Now, as far as the six go in Rumpelstiltskin programs and what Magenta Pixie has told us, we are unable to determine if Rumpelstiltskin is a six or simply has been afflicted by the six. Sometimes the six we consider to be what is known as wetico, which is a crazy mind disease, and pain body, Eckhart Tolle calls pain body, but it's possession by a very low vibration, not necessarily demonic, or yes or no. We think yes, demonic. We think it's becoming possessed by a demonic. That was something that is not very pleasant. And the whole story about Rumpelstiltskin from Once Upon a Time, the TV show, is that he became enchanted and by some diseased thing that was looking for desperate souls. What are desperate souls? People that are between rock and a hard place, and people who really have no real foreknowledge of what might happen when they feel like they're in desperate times. So, without further ado, Stewie wants to remind you that in Family Ties, the eldest person in the house was the father, we think, and the father and the mother were pretty much normal humans. The children were pretty much normal humans. So we don't feel like you would be expecting a magic twist on Family Ties TV show, other than the disease that the star of the show, we're told, has in real life. And we are going to say that if you were watching Merlin, the other show, the TV show that's on Netflix, you would know that the king is always looking for magic means, which he ruled to be illegal in Camelot. And magical sicknesses have been experienced in the different episodes of Merlin. Now, what do you want to make of this? Do we live in a magical world or not? Rational people, I don't know what you're going to say, because you don't really understand the CIA, which studies these magical abilities. Remote viewing has been mentioned many times. What is that? That's using hidden powers of the brain to see things clairvoyantly. Is clairvoyant, in other words, able to see things in your head without using any instrumentation? Is that considered magic where you come from? Well, the CIA and their counterparts in the former Soviet Union were known to be studying extreme humans that had incredible abilities. And sometimes these people were told are frauds, like Uri Geller. But maybe it's disinformation because they really don't want you to know whether Uri Geller is psychic or not. And the whole game continues. Okay, we want to remind you all the time when you don't really pay attention to what's going on in your life, other people's lives are also continuing down the line. And as these timelines converge, as some psychics have said, then we're going to have a great big collision of timelines that people are on. And are we going to have something happen magically? In other words, are we going to have a quantum leap to another dimension? Because there's all these talks about going from the third dimension through the fourth dimension to the fifth dimension. Or perhaps the other way it's been described is going to change in density, the law of one people. And going from third density to fourth density, and a change in consciousness. Now that we've resumed talking about family ties, we want to remind you that all of the things that are going on in your world are going on in my world. And that means if you haven't been paying attention to what's going on in your life, and you haven't been paying attention to what's going on in everyone else's life, and you certainly don't know what's going on in my life, and you don't know what's going on in that guy from Family Ties. I mean, he is an actor, and he's always, at least he used to always be on like the National Enquirer cover. Could it be that this is a story within a story? In other words, is he like putting it on? Having like early onset Parkinson's disease? That seems odd, doesn't it? Early onset? That's an outlier, someone very young getting an old person's disease. So if he's not faking it, then maybe he does have the disease and it's a magical disease, or it's an old-fashioned, like what causes Parkinson's disease in general? Old age. What happens exactly with Parkinson's disease? It really does affect your muscular, skeletal, your ability to move, or maybe your ability to talk, your ability to swallow, your ability to walk. In the end, it's terminal. So it is a definite disease. It's a horrible thing. And why is it only in old people in general? Why is it that we don't see children with Parkinson's disease? Maybe they've looked to see if there's any similarities. I don't know. I can't browse every possible studying area. Nevertheless, I simply bring it up because this story is an unusual story about someone who is pretty much way too young to get Parkinson's. Different ideas like stem cell treatments and things, but as far as we know, there's been no cure for this actor. Now, where did all these other things go? They always are going to be, I don't know right now, but we're giving you what we call a revise, in other words, an update. Now we're back to metaphysical detective Vasily Fisk, and Vasily Fisk might now have enough information to write a report and email it to his partner, the problem solver, the case solver, Andrew Chernyenko. I don't have a hat for Andrew. So we're just going to pretend. Now, I don't know. I'm getting nothing from Andrew. Did he ever solve anything? We always have these stories that they're detectives, but we never really hear about the stories they're working on. We did have some stories way back in the beginning, and I can't even remember because we never got them solved. So maybe these cases cannot be solved by metaphysical detectives or detectives at all. Maybe you'll need magic to solve some of these questions. Now, where might you find magic? Rumplestiltskin might say, I have magic, and all magic comes with a price. Who else might have magic? Could it be a secret society? Hidden things? Or is it all just play acting in the end? Is it high technology that makes things appear and disappear? Are we dreaming and weird things happen in dreams? I leave these questions to you. Please stay tuned for another episode. I don't have anything else to tell you except every time that I do one of these videos, I always wonder, is there one more thing I could add? What can Arizona, the battleship Arizona at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, and the stories that go along with Pearl Harbor, and the stories that go along with the Kingdom of Hawaii, the stories that the Kingdom of Hawaii was stolen by Americans in a plot, and in the end, the plot worked out because now America is Hawaii, but at one time it was not, and Hawaii had an independent history. It might have had some interesting stories to go along, but we've connected Arizona to Hawaii. I don't know where this one's going. Stay tuned for another episode.